Hey everybody, we back for another episode, part two. Yeah, you ready, Crystal?
Yeah. I'm
Do you have
good.
any? I know you have. You have anything you want to say before we get started? Icebreaker, because I know you be coming up with some stuff. I be forgetting to do one.
Yes, a lot of icebreakers. I'm
Yeah.
trying to figure out which
First of
one.
all, we know Africa Bambaataa passed away.
Oh
You know.
yeah,
Yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah. They had some allegations of he was a child molester, but I don't know how true those stories
Yeah,
are.
yeah,
Yeah. But Planet Rock.
yeah. That jam. Yeah, that's the jam right there. But
Yeah.
there's so many icebreakers
Yeah. So.
that's out there. Oh, I got one. This guy set this factory on fire, burnt all the toilet paper. 29-year-old guy. He posted it on TikTok, Instagram, or Facebook, but he lit a match and they said the reporter said he put it right to the scotch tissue and the tissue. You should have seen it.
Mm,
It was like one of them Chuck Norris movies. When you look at it, the warehouse went boom and just blew up. I said, "This." My daughter looked at it. We was laughing. I said, "Not that it's funny because he was wrong for doing it, but it was just funny the way they showed the warehouse." And I'm thinking to myself, did the warehouse really blow up?
because with AI and all types of stuff they doing, you don't
Yeah.
know what really happened.
So I'm like, did it really blow up? You know. And
Yeah.
then you mentioned AI. I was looking at some stuff on TikTok, and it's creepy how you have like Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, James Brown, you know, just celebrities that have passed away, and how they create their image.
Mm.
You know, I'm like, wow, it's just crazy how you can
It's creepy,
use
right?
AI to actually clone, somebody. It's just it's weird. It's
Yeah.
weird. And
It
then of
makes you want,
course we got
it
hmm
makes you want to think how long have they really been using AI? Because they get it before the public get it, so we don't know how long they've been using it.
yeah. They had this movie. I'm trying to think of the name of this movie. It was about this little girl. Oh, Megan. Have you seen Megan?
Yeah, I've seen part one. I haven't seen part two yet.
I saw part two, but I like part one better.
Yeah.
But how they used that robot to get a girl a friend, and then she was evil. I was like, that
Mm.
shit's crazy. Like you
Yeah.
said, how long they've been doing that?
Because when we get it, they've already had it first. Look at Star Trek, Beam Me Up, Scotty, and all that. Their
Yeah,
phones,
yeah.
they had all types of stuff. They had the big screens and all that talking and stuff.
hmm
Now look at the Jetsons. Look at all that stuff back then and cartoons.
Yeah, they
I don't
did.
want to deep down the rabbit hole because you know me, I guess
hmm
but
Wow. Yeah, you
you
right about
gotta
that.
you gotta ask yourself some of these things. When you go back, you look at the cartoons, you go back and look at some of the programs back in the 70s and 80s and stuff. You gotta ask yourself. Like a lot of that
hmm
stuff is you see it now.
Yeah. It's like it's
Not
nothing
Mhm.
new. It's nothing
Yeah.
new. Like I was telling
Like the word
my
of God
daughter.
says, the word of God says there's nothing new under the sun.
hmm
You know?
hmm Like I was telling my daughter, I was like, skinny jeans, that's not nothing new,
No, it's not.
you know.
They just didn't call it skinny jeans, but
No,
the
but I told
concept
her, I
what they
said,
doing, that's not new. Yeah.
that's what I was telling her. I said they had a lot of this stuff that they just bringing back, but they bringing it back in like a newer format.
Hmm.
But I was like, no, we bought some skinny jeans last week at Ross. I'm like, no, I said skinny jeans it's nothing new. They was
Nah.
wearing skinny jeans back in the 50s.
Yeah, they put a twist, give it a name. That's all they do. Give it a name, put a little
Yeah,
twist on it. Hey, sell
yep,
you a product.
yep. So I just let them know. I
Yeah.
said, nah, a lot of this stuff they got, It's just not new. And then I was at the gas station on my way home, filling up on gas, and it's crazy. This lady started screaming beside me. It's crazy how high gas is.
Mm.
It's crazy. I'm like, Lord. Remember, I told you my car was taking $52.
Yeah, you just tell me
Now it's
about
taking
it.
$108.
Just
I'm like,
drinking
this.
it.
And then Hannah's truck, his truck takes less gas than my car. I'm like,
Mm.
mm, but everything's high. If you go in the grocery store, food is
Yeah.
high, clothes, everything,
Yep.
everything.
Yep. It is.
Wow, it's a lot, but it's a lot going on out there in the world.
Yeah.
It's a
It's
lot.
it's not it's nothing new though.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah. I
But
don't think
yeah.
gas really ever went down. Do you think?
I don't know. I think it went. I think it went down for a little bit. Then it went back up. But just be
Yeah,
honest, gas prices always go up. Like when something like war, something happens somewhere, stuff happens. Prices,
everything.
everything go up. So
Yeah,
it is
since the
what it
war
is.
started, everything went up.
Yeah. Hmm.
Everything. You know.
Or you call it a conflict, but we know what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Crystal. Let's get started
Okay,
with
so
it.
we getting
You know.
into, our Friday night live, and whoever's out there watching, feel
Mm-hmm.
free to ask us, questions. We'll try to answer them the best way that we can. So we're
Mm-hmm.
going to continue from last week. So this is part two. Um, I'm going to skip down to go back to the children, and then I'll go back up. I don't know if you wanted to take this over, Rick,
Yeah, I do the for the
or
children. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Hold on, give me a sec.
Okay.
Give me a sec. I got a call right quick.
Okay.
I'm good now. Let's go. Okay, I'm good. I'm good. All
Okay.
right, yo. We're gonna go start with child one,
Mm-hmm.
age 9, uh, 47 pounds, 4 feet, had bones of a 4 or 5 year old. That's crazy. That's
Yeah.
just crazy to me. And child two, age 9.
And excuse me, and
Yeah,
actually looked like a 4 or 5
yeah,
year old. Not just the
yeah,
bones, but actually
yeah,
looked like. Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah. Um, child two, age 9, 48 pounds, 4 feet, had bones, that of a 5 year old as well. And I'm gonna let y'all know I seen this. I've and I was shocked myself. But dad did all of this. So it's crazy.
But one thing I
I
want to say too is that
mhm,
throughout, for the past, I say, well, about a year and 4 months now, right?
mhm,
Like, we speak, and then we share notes, and we share all information. So we're both privy to what each other
mhm,
know. And
mhm.
so, you know, this wasn't hard. I mean, this wasn't, you know, hard for us. It really wasn't, to know this because it happened to us, but it was hard just reading
Yeah.
it. The
And then
information
mhm,
and the
mhm.
facts, it's there.
Yeah.
It's
And
there.
also like we knew some things what was going on everybody we seen stuff, but then to like shit to read it and then you find out other stuff that was going on is like yo, like taking the growth hormone and certain other stuff that I didn't know about, and there's other things too that we haven't talked about,
Hmm.
that kind of had me like yo.
And if you
Mm,
look at the background there, you can see, you know, um, some of these children that was involved in this case, which is our siblings. You could see, and that's like a picture that Laura used right there, and she had been using that for years. And see, we're new to all of this. We're new to all of this stuff, and so that's why we're trying to dissect it in the best way we know how, and speak by advocating for ourselves with the help of some resources we got, and bringing this to everybody's attention, but bringing it to everybody's attention in, a correct, truthful manner, not just throwing stuff out there and saying, oh, this happened to me and this happened. We're not telling any lies. That's the
Yeah.
thing.
And the thing is, we're actually digging and researching and getting we got actual paperwork, so yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Child three, age 11, 4 feet and a half, had bones of a 7-year old.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, child four, age 14, 57 pounds, 4 feet and a half, bones that of an 8-year old. Child five, age 15, 63 pounds, 4 feet and a half, bones that of a 8-year old as well. Child six, age 18, 4 feet, 56 pounds, had bones that of a 5-year old.
Wow.
That's horrible.
Yeah, it is.
That is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Terrible.
ridiculous.
Terrible.
Uh, child seven, age 19, 5 feet, 58 pounds, had bones that of a 5-year old as well. Mm.
This is outrageous as well.
And y'all have to realize, like, they, everybody was born into this, and and your body, they're saying the body was just shutting down because it was trying to reserve energy and all that stuff, and it just had them suspended in time, looking like this, even though the age was 18, but looking at bones that were 5-year old.
Yeah. And like we were speaking about a few minutes ago before we got on, is that a lot of us got pictures of us when we was babies, but you're not gonna see any more pictures of kids but that age right there because of the growth being stunted.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like
Yeah.
somebody mentioned last week, suspended animation.
Yeah.
So you're not gonna, and people want pictures of themselves when they was teenagers, when they were small children, and we're not gonna have pictures like that, pictures that you can treasure, you can have memories of, you can go back and look in on because of this right here. And any pictures that there is, you're not gonna see a change in it. It's just gonna look the same, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So as stated in those court records and transcripts, all of Musa's children, that's who we're talking about. We're not talking about Lord's children because we couldn't find anything during our research based off of the things that she had said happened to her and her children in these transcripts. So we're speaking specifically on ourselves and our siblings, you
Yeah.
know.
And because this case was about all of us,
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't about Laura and her children, but like I said, she plays that to the media, and we're like the afterthought.
Right. That's
Yep.
right. Yep. Yep.
Mm.
And like I said, Lord Cowan children and not the adults in the home. These are diagnoses of bone growth delays that all the children had in the home. Lack of vitamin D, which is why the skin was pale. And I
Mm-hmm.
recall her mentioning on the Tamron Hall show that we were dying in there. Our skin was like a pale ashy color. She went into the transcripts and she got this information right here. This is stuff right here that we have been seeing in the media for years. And we just got a hold of all the transcripts, paperwork, and all, which we knew the stuff that she was saying, it wasn't true. And that's why we were speaking on it. before we even got privy to all the paperwork that we got now. And so she mentioned this, that, our skin was pale.
Mm,
Her,
mm, mm.
well, what she did, if you go back and you watch, I think on the Tamron Hall show, and it was on another podcast, she caught herself. Actually, three of them. She caught herself. She
Mhm.
said we was starving, we was malnutrition, and then she said, "What? I mean the kids."
Yep.
So she stopped and she changed her mind about the lie that she was going to tell. And when she speaks
Mhm.
about the kids, she's talking about, like, she's putting all of us in it and grouping her kids in it as well.
And
That's what
I
she's
want to
doing.
say, I want to say this one right quick. If you let me, we read. You remember Laura was on Tamara Hall show, and she
Yeah,
talked about how she had some chicken and she hid
yeah.
it right,
hmm
and she said bugs got to it and stuff. That was Sharon.
Well, what she said, you're right about that. Yep, she said
Mhm.
that. But what she said is, she said we were starving and he would feed us when he wanted to.
Wanted to,
And
and he
so he
threw some
would open
chicken.
up the door and throw some chicken out to us. And I gave the food to the kids to make herself look good. I gave the food to the kids, but a piece of chicken, I was trying to save it and ants got to it. We just read Sharon's entire testimony. We have been reading it for the last 2 days. And that very same thing that she said on Tamron Hall, what I just said out my mouth, it's a carbon copy of what Laura said. Specifically, Sharon stated that we could not go in any refrigerators in the home or any cabinets to get any food, or we would get in trouble. And that happened with all of us. And she said that if we got caught, we most of the time got caught by Laura, and she would go tell our father. And she mentioned she begged Laura one time not to tell on her, and that she went and told anyways. And so, since she had stole whatever she stole, everybody was punished and put in the garage. And so we're talking about all Musa's kids was punished and put in the garage. And
Hmm.
so he had opened up the door, and Sharon said he was throwing some chicken out. And so Dad Musa's attorney, Mr. Morales, asked, what part of the chicken was he throwing? Sharon said, I don't remember, but it was some chicken that he threw out. And when he was throwing it, some of the chicken, we didn't know where it was going. And so ants got on it. This is the very thing that Laura went on Tamron Hall's show and told Tamron Hall, knowing that that didn't happen to her or her children. She used our sister's testimony and an incident that happened in our home with our sister and all of us, and went on a show and turned the story and told it that that happened to her. And this was the point that Mike, one of our brothers, was trying to make on the Dr. Phil show, that Laura is lying about all the abuse and all of the things that she said that she went through. She's lying about that. What she did, she flipped the story and put it on herself to make people think that it was her when it was all of us. And those was his words. And so when you got somebody going on live TV, like that, and they're telling a story like that, I'm thinking in the back of my head, because see, we've watched all this stuff, and I'm telling you, it's been taunting.
Hmm.
It's been painful to point. It's like I kept seeing things for years, and if I got a call from one of our siblings or
Hmm.
somebody that she had said or did something and it was a lie, I had got to the point where I didn't even want to see it. I didn't even want to see it. I'm like, no, I'm just turning it off. I don't want to see it. And so I'm just like, you know, kind of when you guys are watching these daytime talk shows and the news during the day and at night, and you see her on TV, go ask these. It's easy to contact these networks. Go ask questions. Ask her questions. We're not telling you don't listen to her and don't ask questions. That's what we want. Ask her the questions.
Yeah,
Ask her, but ask her
go
the
to those
tough.
yeah, go to those podcasts and go to those shows that she's on at, leave a comment, say something,
Yeah.
go to her
And I also
foundation.
wanted, yeah. And I also wanted to mention this to Terry Crumpton when he reached out to us last week about coming on his show and speaking and doing the rebuttal. No, it's not gonna work like that. You come on our show. That's what you do. Because you knew good and well that she was lying from the beginning because you would have never asked. You done reached out to me and you've reached out to my brother. And we've told you, no, come to this show. Because that's not fair. That's not fair. You was a part of this in the beginning, Mr. Terry Crumpton, when this stuff happened. And you asked Laura a whole bunch of questions. A whole bunch of questions. I've sent you many cease and desists about me and my siblings, about not using us for her, and you continue to do it. And then you want to go respond, you know, and tell us, oh, come on your show. No, you're not gonna use us. It's no more using us like that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's no
Yep.
more. It's no more of that. It's no more of that using us, and that wouldn't be right. That wouldn't be right. And it was something that he mentioned out of his mouth. He mentioned to Laura. He said, I knew it was a skit, and that interview was set up, that was made on YouTube. Everybody, June 11th of 2012, she did a podcast with Player T show with Terry Crumpton, and she was speaking about all of us. And then he jumped in and he said, "Yeah, because I heard that he would take a hot dog and cut it in 4 pieces and give the kids a piece of the hot dog." You did not hear that. Laura told you that. Laura told you that because she has the transcripts, and she went into transcripts and she told you that and used all of us. She used Tiffany's testimony, and not just Tiffany, but it was a couple of our other siblings that said the same thing that we was reading this past weekend. So I'm just saying, be mindful that, you know, it's the media, and the media can be very tricky. And I think everybody know that. It can, it can be
Mm-hmm.
very tricky. Don't believe everything you hear, you know, at face value or see. Ask questions, you know.
Yeah. All right. So where
So
we at now? You going
getting
back up
getting
to the
back to the
top?
kids, yeah,
Okay.
getting back to the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they looked so pale, and so malnutrition is because of lack of nutrition going into the body. No vitamins, no immunization shots, no food to keep the body growing. Like you stagnated, like a plant almost, you know. And so a lot of us suffered from vitamin D deficiency. We suffered from anemia because they hardly gave us. We ate like vegetarians, pretty much. I mean, we got fish, you know. We might have got, like I said, hot dog. Rarely any beef or any of that, but that's how we ate, like vegetarians. And I'm saying the thing is, the vitamin D is why the skin was pale. Everybody had chronic shortage of key nutrition, primarily calcium deficiency and blood anemia, which caused the bodies to halt growth to conserve energy and
Mm-hmm.
weaken the existing bone growth. And so it what it did, it sustained the blood levels and delayed skeletal maturity in everybody. And so that's why we're explaining it this way, so you can know why was everybody's growth so stunted like that at that age. Somebody being the age of 18, weighing 56 pounds, 4.5 inches tall, 4 feet and a half inches tall, and then on top of that, looking like they're 5 years old because the body was stunning. That's why. And so, after this happened, um, that everybody was removed, everybody started thriving after that.
Mm.
So it's not false. It's not made up. He's not in there for nothing. We have
And
actual
for and also
evidence.
for those that think that, oh, those kids they are lying. Hey, look at those pictures right there. They lied on
And
him and this and that. That's not true.
and you don't want to see the pictures because the pictures are
Yeah. Well,
horrific.
just for the ones right here, but we have there are others, but
Yeah.
that's an example right there.
They're horrific. I mean, like when I tell you there was bruises all over kids' bodies, there's tons of tons, and I mean tons of police reports. Okay, there's tons of evidence, documentation, and evidence on all. And I'm not talking about Laura, because I can just tell you this: in those transcripts, there's no evidence of Laura having any bruises at all. It's just all hearsay. So there's none. And
How did they hide the bruises? Did they have like large clothing on? The kids. That's what because I'm saying what I remember seeing. They had like large clothing. I'm like,
well, we all wore baggy clothes, big t-shirts,
mm-hmm,
a pair of jeans, baggy clothes. And we wore clothes to conceal our skin, covering our arms, covering our necks, covering our legs, covering our feet.
right. Mm-hmm.
So pretty much nobody could tell. Nobody could tell. Even when we went to Virginia on a trip, family members couldn't tell because it was concealed. It was concealed, and we was being taunted and programmed and told that we better not say anything.
Mm-hmm. Did they change ages to make you seem you're younger than what you were?
They did that all the time.
Uh-huh.
They did that all the time. All the
Didn't
time.
Sharon didn't Sharon mention that
Yeah,
she
Sharon mentioned in her testimony that we had went to the park one day to a barbecue and it was in Bakersfield. It was with
Mm-hmm.
two it was with two a Muslim brother and his wife. It was Jamila and Jamil when we were living in Bakersfield when we first got into the Muslim religion. They invited us to a barbecue. Their older son, had a birthday, and so we went to the park. And uh, both of those people was police officers. They were sheriffs,
Mm-hmm.
and
mm,
so they invited us to the park. And while we was at the park, Sharon wanted to go get on the swings. So when we walked over to go get on the swings, the other kids was playing with Sharon, and Sharon was like, how old was Sharon? I mean, these was little kids that was playing with her, like 3, 4, 5 years old.
mm,
Sharon was like maybe about 8 or 9, and Dad told her just to tell the family that was standing there that she was 6 years old, and she wasn't. So he knew exactly, what he was doing when he was doing the things that he was doing. And then he made a comment. It's so sick, you guys, that, but that's what this podcast about. He made a comment. The way he spoke, he hung himself in court. You know that packet we read, Richard? The
yeah.
way he spoke of
Mm-hmm.
all his children to the
He spoke
jury
badly.
and the DA and the judge, the way he spoke about us like we was like little monsters, like terrorizers.
Who did?
That's
Mm-hmm.
how
Who
he
was that?
Musa. That's how he
Moose, yeah.
spoke about us
Yeah, okay.
because the way he
Oh
talked,
yeah, 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 yeah.
he called us sociopaths, kleptos, dummies, in court.
Mm-hmm.
Stupid.
Right
Um,
there, the judge should have banged the gavel and said guilty. Get him out of
they
here.
didn't say anything. He was
He,
hanging.
Hmm.
he
He
was
was
taking it, so
hanging.
he kept going too. His lawyer didn't
They
stop
let
him or
him
nothing.
go. Nobody
Yep.
objected. They just let him go and keep on speaking. And you know what the other bad part is? To our siblings that's watching, especially Mike. I want you to know this is that reading mom's transcripts, it was horrific. Okay. Mr. Morales
Oh
cross-examined our
man.
mother. And you know what he asked our mother? And me and Richard had to read that like a couple times to make sure we was actually seeing what we saw. He asked our mother, you let him abuse those kids all those years and you was afraid you wouldn't get no help for them, none of that. She said, I was afraid. He said, let me ask you this. He said, would you have let him kill all of your kids? What did she say, Richard?
She said she would have killed us.
She said she would have let him kill all of us.
Yeah.
And Mr. Morales said, excuse me? She said, I would have let him kill all of them. He said, why would you let him do that? She said, because I was afraid. And so
Let me
his
interject.
attorney
So, Mike,
said, you
go
was
ask her. Mike, go ask her about that.
yeah,
You know, and as the
yeah.
saying goes,
You was
give me a
afraid.
straight answer.
When I heard that,
Yeah.
I was shocked. I was like, I'm
And
done.
he was shocked too, so they had to take a recess. He told the
Yeah,
judge, he said, I
yeah,
got to take
yep.
a recess. Because he said, I can't believe Miss Bodie said that she would allow these kids' father to kill
To
them.
kill them. Yep.
That she was afraid.
Yeah,
Ain't that
unfathomable.
crazy? That's crazy. That right there, that took me like, I was like, okay, I'm going to wrap it up after that. Because we have been reading her testimony for like 4 or 5 hours. It is more. It's more. And the reason why we're talking about this, because a lot of us don't know what each other said in that courtroom because we wasn't in there when each other testified.
And
And
see, and Laura
Laura
wasn't
was
in there. So
not
how did
even
she get
there.
all this
She was
information?
not even in the state of California when we testified. They flew her in, says our advocate of Riverside Courts.
Can we get a straight answer on how Laura got this information? This is the new channel called Give Us a Straight Answer. Go ahead.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
it's just like, we know that somebody gave her some information and we know that she's used transcripts. We know that a lot of medical records and pictures and information that she got a hold of us, somebody gave it to her. Somebody gave it to her.
Because it's word for word. All those the
All those
podcasts she's
interviews.
been on, those interviews, everything,
Right.
it's word for word.
So she got it from somewhere, and somebody's out there shaking in their boots because they know it's getting closer. It's getting closer to getting exposed, getting revealed.
Mm-hmm.
When that time comes, we'll deal with that. We'll cross that bridge when it gets here because we have a strong idea of who it is and what entity it is. But go ahead, Crystal.
Okay, so what I wanted to say now, and it might get a little quiet here, but this is very important that we discuss this, and I've discussed it with um, several people, in-laws. I've discussed it with Hannah. I've discussed it with Rick, and I just want to, for everybody that's watching, even to all our siblings, I want to make it very clear is that all of us are adults. All of us are adults. We don't live that life anymore. So there's no reason for none of us to say that we can't pick up the phone and call 911 if there's something going on in our lives. There's no reason for none of us to say that we can't find any toll-free domestic abuse number because it's out there. It's all over line. They got a bunch of advocates talking about it. They have it posted on the freeway when you're driving. You can see the billboards. It's no excuse to accept any abuse from nobody. It's no excuse to continue accepting abuse from mom. It's no reason to continue to accept any abuse from any, not
Anybody.
saying that it's going on. I'm saying from friends, spouses, anybody. It's no reason for it. It's no reason to hide it anymore. because the help is there. You can easily pick up the phone, call one of your siblings, hey, I need some help. Now, for about, I say, a little bit over 15, 16 years, several of my siblings have told me some things, and several of them have been witness to it. And I don't
Yeah, they
understand.
have.
Yeah, what I don't understand, and I'm a heavy documenter, and you know that, Rick.
Yeah.
Like, I have tons of books. I document everything. And so I've been documenting, I think I might have 10, 11 books. I've been documenting for the last 10 years, reports, um, all types of stuff that's been going on.
Right.
Now, our mother is in a present relationship with this guy that we call Homeboy from Outer Space. I don't want to say his name because I don't want to give him the platform, because he's a disgusting, horrible person. And his abuse that he's done to me, that he's done to all of my siblings and our mother, is similar to our father's. And I'm going to tell you why. I've been isolated from my mother for the past 20 something years. Okay. And I was isolated from her because I wanted her to be present for my daughter's birth. And when I went to go and give her my OBGYN's card that was delivering my daughter for me, I wanted her to be present along with my husband's mother. And she told me she was going to be present. Okay. But when word came out that she was going to be present to her husband, oh, he didn't like that. He didn't like that. So what happened is what he said to me. He said, such and such, which was me and my younger sister, Marva, think that they can kick my you know what. I didn't pay it any attention and I didn't say anything. He said to me, because you didn't say anything to me when you came in the house. Now I'm thinking in my head, he must think he's God's gift to women, because he's had a lot of polygamous wives. He's had a lot of right hand possessions. He's had just a lot of women that he's mistreated. Okay. And those women that he's mistreated, I knew them as a child growing up. I know one who's Adrian, because Adrian has shared her story about Homeboy from Outer Space and how rude and disrespectful he is, how he uses all of these strategic tactics, to keep people away from their families and stuff. I'm going to let my mom know because she says she doesn't watch this show anymore, and that's fine. But maybe Mike or one of our siblings, Nikosi, one of you that's watching, can go back and let her know that I'm her
Tell
daughter.
us.
Hold on. I'm her daughter, and I love her. Okay? I forgive her, and I've moved on. Okay? I'm not crying for you. I'm not yearning for you at all. At all. But I wish you the best in your life. It's a different story when it comes to our father because I'm not there yet. I'm still going through some counseling in my life. And there was a letter that was written to our mother. I wrote that letter as I wrote in many letters before in the past. And Hannah, if you're aware of that, I've wrote several letters to her in the past. When I wrote letters to our mother in the past, the first thing our mother did is she used a pattern of turning all of us against each other. For example, me and my siblings was raised like this. If one person screwed up, everybody had to take the fall for that one person. Then there was times when one person screwed up, where that one person was punished and made fun of. Then there was a time in our house where the oldest, and we know who the oldest is because she's been very verbal about being the oldest. And we know you're the oldest. But there was some things that was done to her, and she's not at fault, and I don't blame her. And she has this title called the oldest. And they gave her that title because they wanted her to be the type of person that they was. And I thank God it didn't get that far. But I do find in our relationships from our upbringing that some of those patterns of our upbringing, and we're adults now, it has lingered on into siblings relationships. And what it's done, it's made some siblings think that they're on pedestals. Now, I'm going to start with this. There was a letter written that I wrote recently to our mother, and the letter was not threatening, and it wasn't violent, nor was it nasty. The letter was out of concern. And guess what? Michael, Curtis, Marlon, Sharon, Tiffany, and Lakeisha, all 6 of you have told me, and Marva, 7, have told me things that I wasn't even privy to, things that this guy was doing to our mother and that he was doing to you guys. And you know what I did? I went and I reported him and I documented it. And I did that because you know why? It was wrong. We don't live in that house anymore where we had to, don't tell on him because, this could happen. I'm not afraid. The only person that I fear is God. That's it. I'm not afraid of him. And I never be afraid of him. That's why I spoke to him vocally at 22 years old to show him I'm not afraid of you. Okay? I carried on with my life after that. My mom wasn't present as my daughter grew up. And it was best for me and my family that I protect my peace and that I not involve her in my life because I saw the same pattern creeping into my life that I experienced as a child. And I didn't want that continually for myself as a young adult, and I didn't want it for my daughter. And I knew that my husband wasn't going to accept it at all. So when mom spoke in the transcripts and Mr. Morales asked her, our father's attorney, he said, why don't you speak to your daughter, Crystal? And why don't you have a relationship? And she said, because of our upbringing in the home. That's not the reason. That is not the reason at all. And that was a lie. Mom knows good and well why me and her don't speak and why we don't have a relationship. And guess what? It has nothing to do with Musa. It has nothing to do with none of our siblings. It has nothing to do with me. It has something strictly to do with our mother. Our mother has issues, and she still have issues. She want to be left alone. And I understand she want to be left alone. You know why? She don't want somebody like me. She don't want somebody like Rick. She don't want somebody like Hannah. She don't want somebody like anybody in our family that can recognize and notice abuse when we see it for it to stop. So guess what? I'm a threat to her. Sharon has done absolutely nothing wrong. And I love my sister and brothers to death. But I'm specifically speaking about Sharon because I'm sick of hearing come out of our mother's mouth how much she doesn't like her daughter. And her daughter hasn't done anything to her. As far as her saying that she doesn't like me, I don't even care. I could care less. Because you know what? I brushed it off my shoulder years ago. And it don't bother me. But what bothers me is that hearing it out of her mouth said about my sister and my brothers, say that. We're all adults. We don't need siblings, Mike. Okay? Going to mom, telling mom, such and such said this about you on this podcast. Mike, we all got to wake up. We all got to wake up. I woken up, Mike, years ago. I'm your sister. I love you. I'm telling you the truth. You got to wake up. You got to worry about yourself and your family. You got to stop figuring out a way that you can make excuses for our mother and trying to save her. She needs to go save herself by going getting counseling and apologizing to all of her children. That's what she need to do. Okay?
She told me she apologized on the stand.
That was because she was up under lock and key. That's the only reason why. And we know about the system because we all was raised in it. And we know that people like that, what they do, they testify. And then they say they sorry in front of a big old group of white folks to show, oh, I'm sorry for what I did. She's not sorry. She's not sorry at all. If she was sorry, she wouldn't have told you, Richard, that she doesn't like me and I'm her daughter and her other daughter, Sharon. She wouldn't have told you that. She's not sorry. That was nasty. That was nasty. Okay? There was a welfare check done on her at the advice that was given to me. Number one, the district attorney gave me a lot of advice. Somebody need to talk to your mother. Your mother needs to get some help. Okay? I didn't want to do it. I felt like, no, I'm not doing it. I asked Sharon. Sharon didn't want to do it. Yeah. Guess what? Yeah. I said, okay, I'll write a letter. I've spoken to my counselor. I've spoken to Hannah. I've spoken to Rick. I've spoken to the in-laws, family, and friends. This is to help our mother. This is not to hinder our mother. This is not to hurt our mother. This is to help her. That's what it's for. Okay? So there was a welfare check done on her. Okay? And what did she do? She lied. She lied. She lied. The letter I wrote, Mom, you know you're wrong. And I don't disrespect you in no letters. And I don't tell you no lies. I've given you the utmost respect from a distance. I've never cursed you out. I've never disrespected you, period. I've been quiet and haven't said anything. But I'm going to say something now because you went and you used a pattern. And the pattern was a form of abuse so all of my siblings can believe a lie and attack me. That's what it was for. Nobody wrote you nothing nasty, and nobody wrote you nothing disrespectful or threatening. It was out of concern. That's what it was. And those are the facts. And I have the facts. Okay? So, moving on into this letter. You want to read the letter, Hannah?
Yes. Okay. Yes, indeed. And I'm going to read this letter. This letter was written by Crystal right here. And out there, if you want to talk about the letter to your mom, ask her the questions that's in this letter, because you'll have a recording of this, the whole verbatim account of this letter. And so we want to get some straight answers, because people are going to go out there that's going to have a lot of chatter and saying this and that and other. But we want straight answers from this letter, and this is what it's all about. And then we'll go from there. So reading the letter forward, it starts off, Dear Mom, you need to seriously get some counseling. For quite some time, you have not sought professional help for the trauma you have been through or for the abuse you allowed to happen to me and my siblings at the hands of your husband. For years, Sucker has abused you. I have reported this several times based on what my siblings have told me. And this is Sucker from outer space. It makes us sick to hear that when our siblings come to visit, they have to stand outside of a gate. This is a major red flag. You have specifically targeted your daughter Crystal for standing up for you and her siblings. When Sucker from Outer Space beat Lakeisha on her bottom, it was a crime. It should have been reported to the police then, and it should still be reported today. Tiffany, Sharon, Marlon, Michael, Curtis, and Christopher have all shared the abuse patterns they witnessed and experienced. These patterns are unacceptable and they need to stop. Sucker from Outer Space does not love you. If he did, he wouldn't treat you or your children this way. He loves the idea of you because he uses you to get back at family members he dislikes. He has controlled your mind and alienated you from all of your children. Please listen to us and get help before something happens to you and he tries to hide you away like he did with his wife. And we'll say his, since he has some wives, it's like the sister wife stuff. His
No,
main,
but she was his legal wife,
yeah,
and I
legal
knew
wife,
I
yeah,
knew her very well. I knew
right.
her very well.
Mhm. Like he hid away, he did his legal wife, children, and grandmother. Sucker has crossed so many boundaries. He has disrespected our families, and the way he treated the his wife after she passed away is vile. He had you living in a shed and does not treat you right at all. None of us have disrespected this sucker. We have simply stood up to him when he has been disrespectful, calling us names, taking money from us just to see you, and making disgusting sexual comments. It is ridiculous that you do not speak to any of us just because we are vocal about the abuse you allowed when we were children. Sucker has a long history of abusing women and children. Excuse me. In the early 90s in Mead Valley, he controlled and abused many women on his property. None of them are with him today because of what he did. He has even tried to turn all of us siblings against each other and use every tool possible to hurt us. I, I would hate for you to be another statistic. Please remove yourself from him. We want all of you to be safe. This is my last attempt at asking you to get help. To maintain a relationship with us, you must prioritize your safety. If you are not ready to get out, please use these resources. I mean, if you are ready to get out, please use these resources. Emergency call 911. And we have the National Domestic Violence Hotline. They can be reached at 1-800 799 7233 or text START to 88788. That's text START to 88788. And the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800 799 7233. Until you take these steps and leave that situation, we love you, but we cannot be a part of this cycle of abuse anymore until you choose to get help. Love, Richard, Lakeisha, Marcus, Tiffany, Sharon, Crystal, Marlon, Curtis, Michael, Nikosi, Chikosi, Marva, Joanna, and Christopher. So there you have it. And hopefully those that see this, and they're going to see it, There it is. If you have any question, get answers to what was read in this letter. That's what it's all about. All the rest of that chatter that's going nowhere is it's a waste of time, and we won't be dealing with conjecture. We'll just be getting to trying to get some resolution so that she can get the help she needs for all this time she's been in the abuse cycle that she's trapped in. It's a revolving loop over and over again. It's like a movie living a bad dream over and over again. And I'm sure this every day that she wakes up. So if she decides to get help and change, that would be something to start. And that would be a new bridge to cross. Okay, great, Crystal.
I'm just gonna say this. I've been a big old advocate for all of my sister and brothers, and they know I have. And anything that they've told me, and it would be vice versa, I would hope that they would do the same for me. But anything that they've told me, you know, I've gotten help, and I've fought a good fight based off of things that they've told me. And so at this point, it ends right here. It ends right here. I'm not dealing with it no more. The ball is in their court. Is in their court. That's where it's at. Because if somebody can do that much wrong to you and you can't see the right in another person, it's still a problem. It's still a problem. It's still something going on. It's like, to me, that you're not recognizing abuse. You're just spilling it out your mouth, but you ain't doing anything about it. People that do stuff like that, they need to be stopped. They need to be stopped. And our father, he kept doing stuff, similar stuff that homeboy from outer space do, and he was stopped. He was stopped. And I'm just like, this is not made up. This is coming from our siblings. And if mom, she's watching this, you need to go and stop harping on me and Sharon all the time about stuff that Mike is watching podcasts and going back, telling you things. We're not doing anything wrong. We're not doing nothing wrong. You got yourself in this stuff. You can't.
Here's the thing.
Like,
Here's the thing. All of y'all up here has spoke about homeboy from outer space and about mom's character and the stuff she's done. So I can't understand why she's going hard at Sharon and you.
But I'm saying I ain't trying to win brownie points with her.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
I'm not. What I don't like is that Mike, he needs to stop going to mom, telling her things. That's what he needs to stop doing. When she repeats that Mike said they lying, we're not lying, Mike, because we have me and Richard have been studying this stuff like we college students again, studying this crap. That's all we've been doing. And it's not to benefit just us. It's to benefit everybody, our entire family. We've never sat up and tried to leave anybody out of anything. It's to benefit everybody. Never done that. We're not those type of people. And you know that already. You don't have to go no more. We don't live in a home where there's favoritism going on anymore. All of us are grown adults. You don't need to go tell a grown woman on grown adults. You don't need to do that and keep the fire going. You need to stop doing that. It's wrong. You did that on the last show that we was up here, and you left your brother. And I ain't said anything, but it's burning me about it. You did it on the last show last year in April, and we was having a discussion about mom. Nobody told any lies. Do you know your mother sat, and it's disgusting. It's hurtful, and it goes deeper than that. Your mother sat in transcripts, and she told dad's attorney that she would have killed us or allowed him to kill us because she was afraid. She was afraid. That's what she said.
Everybody was near death anyway. That's what it stated in the record.
It's way out to just sit and you're telling a grown adult a grown adult that already have a problem with two of her daughters for being vocal about their feelings. We're entitled. Mike, we're women, okay? And men ain't above women, okay? We're equal, okay? We're all equal. We're your sisters. We're your sisters. You don't need to go run and go tell her anything on none of us, knowing that she was a part of that stuff. Yeah, I know she was battered and all of that. But guess what? That's not a good enough excuse, regardless. She had 13 babies that she was supposed to protect. That's what she had. She was there. You can't just all put it on Musa. She was there. She was there. She was there. There was two parents there. And you just can't put it on one person. You can't do that. It's wrong. There was 4. Then there became 4 adults in the house. And the stuff, you don't know, Mike, how tough it's been for me and Richard. You don't know. I have to work every single day. And sometimes I'm working 11, 12 hours. And on top of that, running my own small business. You know, Richard has to work every day. And we find a way to go and make sure, hey, we getting information that we wasn't privy to. All of you guys wanted this, Mike, in the beginning, before I even came on this podcast.
Yep.
I came later. I'm sticking by my brother, and I stick by the rest of y'all as well. I don't put people up on pedestals. I love all my siblings equally. This been weighing heavily on my heart. I'm speaking about it because it shouldn't be like that at all. It really shouldn't. All of us don't live with each other. All of us live far off distance. We're all adults. You know, I don't need you going to mom, telling your mom things on me and adding fuel to the fire, because that's what it's doing. It's already a problem. I'm already a problem. Me and Sharon already to her, and you're making the problem worse. Worse. And then you guys sit and you listen to her say that I did nasty stuff I didn't even do. I'm a very smart person, okay? I copy everything that I write. And when you want to see the letter, you can see the letter. Hannah just read it. It's right here.
Yeah.
It's right here. That man
you gave me the letter. You sent it to me, and I read it. And you told me you was gonna,
I thought
to mom.
this through.
I didn't see anything wrong with it because you was concerned about it.
Yeah, I thought it through.
It's something.
It just needs to stop. That's not what.
Yeah, the response to that letter is one of the things off the wheel of abuse for children that become adults. Yeah. And this is one specific thing that I kind of magnified it on and put the microscope up under to look at it. And it's triangulation. It's telling lies or half-truths to other family members to turn them against the adult child, ensuring the adult feels they have nowhere else to turn, that they're just left alone, that they're cast away. And so these are some of the things, the type of isolation. So we're going to isolate Crystal, because of such and such. We're going to isolate Sharon because of such and such. We're going to isolate Marlon because of such and such. Because they know those two are vocal about the shenanigans that they pull. And they always have something to say for, and I hope that they keep on using their voice. And everybody else.
I won't change for nobody.
Yeah, right.
When it comes to children, I don't care how anybody feel. You can just not like me. Yeah. I don't care.
If everybody else keeps on doing the same thing that they always been doing, they're going to keep on getting the same thing that they always got. And the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, except expecting a different result. The results would be the same. You look a year from now, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years from now, and you'll see the same situation. And you'll be like stuck in the mud. So you want to get out that mud. And that's why you should use your voice and decide to do something different. Wake up and say, yeah, you know something, today I'm going to change because I'm tired of being in this same old rut, the same old, psychological, spiritual spell that I've been up under. You see, so hopefully you can break the chains, and then you can get yourself free and do something better for yourself.
And then the thing is, to all of our brothers, why I'm your sister, okay? I'm your sister, okay? Why would you want me to place my daughter around somebody like that, so that way they can go through the same, my daughter can go through the same thing that all of us went through? Why would you want me to do that? Because I made my own choices in my life. Why would you? And mom, she speaks about this in the transcripts. She said she wouldn't allow me around my grandbaby. She don't know you. She's never seen a picture of you. We don't tell her you her grandparent. We don't tell her Musa is her grandparent. That don't exist in our home. We don't. You guys did some heinous stuff to all 13 of us, and you allow other people to do things to us. And now that we're fully grown adults and we being vocal about it, guess what? You don't like us for it. It's okay that you don't. That's on you. That's on you. But why would you want Mike, being an uncle of my daughter, why would you want my daughter around somebody like that, a man like that? You've said plenty about this man, plenty, online and in person to us. You said plenty. And it's just bad. It's a bad situation. It's really bad.
They just don't want
Place
it.
everybody in a situation with somebody like that. I ain't gonna do no kumbaya stuff with that man ever, ever, ever. And I mean it.
This how I see it. I think that they all left the show and they felt as if they can get to you, it'll stop you coming up here. Therefore, Rick ain't got nothing to talk about because you know how it is when it comes with me. But I was the one trying to get everyone to come up here and discuss it because of the fact that Laura has been using our story over 20 something years. So why stop now? So me and you just kept going. So
Well, I can just tell you this: nobody can get to my brain, and I ain't brainwashed. It'll never happen.
but that's what they was hoping for. You know what I'm saying? I
It'll
know
never
they're not gonna
happen.
do it, but that's what they was
It'll
hoping
never
for.
happen. I noticed it
Yeah.
was suspicious when we were up here, and I think what happened is that when we brought up mom, and viewers have been asking about her mother. I'm not gonna lie, mom is out there, name is in the media, all of that. Laura used her name. She used her name. You ain't mad at her? She used your name, okay? In a movie.
She got you in the movie, yeah.
And you ain't mad at her? She used you and Musa in the movie and used some of us. And you're not mad at her? You're not mad at her. But I knew last year, around the end of March and April, when me and Sharon spoke, and he spoke, and that's fine because everybody got different points of view. But you can't go and get upset and then go back and tell mom, Sharon said this, Sharon said that. Sharon never said on this podcast, she never stated, Mike, that mom did not go through anything. She never said that. She stated one thing, like I did, is that mom was wrong too. And she was. That's just bottom line. She was wrong. She was wrong, period. And we all know that game because we've been involved in it as kids. I'm very aware of it. Very aware of it. I had a good sense of where somebody in our family had a long talk with me, one of my uncles. And I thank him till today, don't I, Rick? Because I always tell
Yeah.
you, had
Mm-hmm.
a long talk with me and all of our sisters about not being independent women, working hard, having something for yourself, and don't be in relationships that's controlling, that's gonna keep you there. And I that sticks with me. I didn't get it from my father. I didn't get it from my mother. Got it from my uncle. That stuck with me. And so when I left that situation after seeing so much stuff, I knew when he was getting out of prison, I was like, I'm out of here. I heard some stuff going on then when we was on that property. Some things that he was going to be a ruler and a controller of. I'm talking about homeboy from outer space. Wife was saying, I knew it. I'm like, I'm out of here. I don't want to be a part of that. That is not my lifestyle. I don't live like that. And I have several Muslim friends. I've been to their house. They don't live like that. They don't live like that. Period. They don't. They don't. I have nothing but love for all of my siblings. Period. I don't put no siblings on pedestals, none of that stuff. I don't do any of that. It's not in me to do that. I'm a very fair person. But I am not going to leave my brother's side. And we had started this podcast together. I'm a stickler at it. And I'm a stickler when it comes to all my other siblings, when you decide whatever in your life you want to do. But you guys need to be aware of, regardless, our mom got some serious issues. She just do. And that's just what it is. Nobody's perfect, But I'm saying when it gets this bad right here, it's time for a change. It's time for a change.
This whole channel is done, and all this is done to heal from trauma and to process that trauma. Because once you start processing it, you just say, hey, I could possibly heal from this. And so I just wanted to give a few spiritual steps in the healing journey. And one of them is, the first one is radical acceptance and surrender. And what that is, this is not about condoning what happened, but about ceasing the inner war against reality. Acknowledge the wound. Acknowledging the wound is spiritually healing cannot begin in denial, but you must witness your own pain without judgment. Don't judge yourself for the pain that you went through. Understand the pain that you went through. Now, release of control, surrendering the need to change the past. This allows energy previously spent on what ifs to be redirected toward current restorations. What ifs? Because the past, we don't have a DeLorean to go back in the past and go change the past. So no back to the future, none of that. So, but what you want to do is redirect towards your current situation and the positivity that you can do right now. Number 2, reclamation of the inner child or spirit. Trauma often causes a fragmentation where a part of the self feels frozen in the past, like a snapshot in time. Bam. Like some of these pictures that are up here that we see on this channel right here of all the different siblings and stuff like that. Snapshot in time. That's not them now today. You see.
Yeah.
And so soul retrieval, in many traditions, this is the practice of calling back the parts of yourself that checked out during the trauma. And that's interesting, because you're like, what parts of you checked out? Because why they check out? Because that was saving you. That was, protecting you. That's what the body does. Now, nurturing the essence, engaging in activities that feel light and joyful before the trauma occurred to remind the spirit of its original state. So that's engaging in activities that felt light or joyful before the trauma occurred to remind the spirit of its original state. And then you have establishing sacred boundaries. And we all know about boundaries. Now, spirituality emphasizes that your body and mind are a temple. Energetic clearing. Using practices like meditation, prayer, or smudging to clear the heavy energy that left behind by the abuser. It's like trauma. Abuser bond trauma in a sense. And the power of no. This is a big one here. Viewing boundaries not as walls, but to keep people out. I mean, viewing boundaries not as walls to keep people out, but as a way to keep your inner peace protected. You have that boundary to protect within yourself, around yourself, that you're not going to let anybody violate, so you can be protected. And then once you're protected, you can protect others. Cutting the cord. Spiritually, holding onto rage keeps you tethered to the abuser. Forgiveness is the act of cutting that energetic cord so they can no longer drain your current life force. You see, and people say, what kind of forgiveness? It's like, no, all the time. Somebody's, when you deal with heinous stuff, your forgiveness is for you to forgive yourself what you went through. And that individual, hey, hopefully they go and seek forgiveness within yourself. That's the best you can do. So, and then you move on, and then, so you don't have to worry about it draining your current life force, which you don't. And because sometimes if you hold on to the resentment, yes, it's disliked, but you can't drag all that hurt and that pain from back then to now. Leave that in the past. Analyze it in the past and see how you overcome it at this point right now.
Mm-hmm.
Now, finding meaning, post-traumatic growth, this steps involves transmuting victimhood into survivorship and eventually advocacy. The alchemy of pain, using your experience to develop deep empathetic wisdom or the desire to help others. Now, spiritual purpose, recognizing that while the trauma was not meant to happen, recognizing that while the trauma was not meant to happen, you can choose what it means for your future. And so we have some kind of, also the tools you'll be using is meditation, mindfulness. And this purpose is to ground the spirit in the present moment when flashbacks occur. So we're talking about meditation and mindfulness. When you drift back into that resentment state, you want to remind your spirit of the present moment, so do meditation of positiveness. So then you have shadow work, to look at the dark parts of the experience and bring them into the light for healing. Prayer or connection, connecting to a higher power, the universe, our ancestors, for strength beyond our own. You got to start somewhere. See, all this is a cycle, and it's going to lead to the same source of goodness.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the big thing about prayer and connection, and with the meditation. And then you have a ritual. What's your ritual? You have bad rituals, then there's good rituals. But this one is creating a ceremony like writing and burning a letter to symbolize the end of a chapter.
Mm-hmm.
Spiritual steps are most effective when paired with professional psychological support. The spirit and the nervous system are deeply connected. Healing one often requires tending to the other. And we're saying that because this stuff can affect your psychological, that fight or flight feeling that affects the development disorder in children. And so that's why we say there are some things that can actually help you. And you got the holistic method. There's things that can help you holistically that you can take and stuff like that. People say, hey, I take Prozac, and somebody else say, I take turmeric because there's active ingredients in turmeric, as in Prozac. So you have a sense of well-being. And there's, so eating a balanced diet, changing your diet. But these are some of the things that are the driving force to having you steps towards, to heal from the trauma. And so that's what all this is all about, as Crystal and Rick are processing the trauma that they have been through and trying to get positive information out to their siblings and even their mom. so they can possibly heal from where from what they've been through. Anybody else?
No, I was just saying, you know, what you were talking about having spiritual boundaries. Everybody has spiritual, boundaries and stuff. And that was one of the reasons after I saw that one thing, actually a couple things, but that one thing with this present relationship that she has, that's why I said I'm setting boundaries to protect myself
Mm-hmm.
first, because my daughter was here, and then to protect my daughter, you know. And so there's no way in the world I would be a horrible person to place my daughter around somebody like that. There's no way in the world I could do that. And then you yearn for grown adults to call a man Abu. You yearn for us to call him Abu, which means father. He's
Mm-hmm.
not our father. We don't even know him. We knew him as children on his property, and he did some heinous stuff. We all spoke about it. Lakeisha, Marcus, Sharon, me, Marlon, and Nikosi. We all spoke about it up here. And I'm saying, you don't let people treat you like that. You don't let no. We don't even let people treat our mother like that. That's why we saying something. We already went through that before. Who wants to live a life? Just live your whole life like that. Where you have to go. Example, I was told by one of our sisters that when our mother goes somewhere, she got to ask permission when she leaves. She got to tell them where she's going, when she's coming back, how long she's going to be gone. And I'm saying, when I hear things like that, all of us know that that's not right. You don't do that to people. That's controlling. Of course, you live with a spouse. You might tell them, I'm going to the store, I'll be back. But you don't blatantly have somebody ask you, can I go to the store? And that's what he's done. That's what he's done. And I looked at her testimony and read that testimony. 2,000 some pages me and Richard went through. And it was nothing that came out of mom's mouth concerning her kids. It was no concern. It was just that I was afraid. I was scared.
I was a coward.
You'd be shocked to know I'm so glad that my daughter was not around her because of the things that she allowed him to do to Richard. The stuff I read, that crap, I had to take a break. And Hannah, if you were sitting there listening, Hannah was like, this food is crazy. The stuff that was spilling out her mouth that he did to our brother. He's the first son, the original son in our family. The original son in our family. And I'm just saying.
The OGS.
That's the inside stuff, y'all. Y'all don't know.
Yeah, it's funny, but it's a joke. You would be shocked. You would be shocked.
It's funny you saying all this.
Imagine how we feel. Imagine how we feel.
We talk about coping skills, and I'm using some coping skills right now, and I'm drinking my beer, my ginger beer. So it's natural. Yeah. So it helps with so many different things and digestive and a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah.
We want to just change, do some good positive habits and stuff like that.
Yeah. And when you talked about, protecting boundaries and stuff like that, this stuff to me, I mean, I know what the Muslim religion is because I've been around a lot of Muslims. And people don't know this. My daughter's godfather was a Muslim. He passed a couple years ago. And he decided that after studying for so long, for many years, about 30-something years, that he wasn't going to use a title anymore, calling himself Muslim, Jew, Christians. And people this is his decision he made. He made a decision, no, I'm just a believer in God. That's it. I'm living my life the right way, like God said, and just trust and believe in God. And there's nothing wrong with that. We came from a home where that religion was taught to us, but it wasn't taught to us in the right way. And Dad, he testifies how the religion was taught to us. He didn't teach it that way at all. He taught the Muslim religion, and Muslim people are not like this at all. But he taught the religion for us to be fearful, and he taught violence. That's what he taught the religion to be. He taught the religion to be controlling, especially with women. He taught it. And imagine how all five of your sisters might felt when our father was telling our brothers that women ain't nothing. Imagine what we had to go through growing up, that women ain't nothing. And the man is in control of the house. They can't speak. They're in control of everything, your whole being. It's not supposed to be like that. It's not supposed to be like that, whether you're a Muslim or not. It's not supposed to be like that in any religion. And I'm just telling you, I've learned from self-experience from being around other Muslim families. And I've been around a polygamous family, a man that has 4 wives, okay? And those women have their own homes. They don't live together. There's not one woman that's paying for 38, 39 people. Those women have their own homes. They have their own jobs, their own finances, their own cars. That's how it's supposed to work. You're not supposed to be having a polygamous relationship and you got 4, 5 women, 4 women living in the house, and then you got 2 white right-hand possessions. Just in case I decide I don't want to be with one wife, I can go marry this other wife. They don't have that. These Muslim women I know, they're independent. And they have Muslim sites where if you're being abused, you can go and you can call imams and you can do certain things, to get help. I've seen something totally different being around this guy and still hearing things about him and growing up as a child and watching him do some horrific stuff. I learned some things about him when Adrian came into our family and she told us some things about him that was terrible. And then, like Mr. Morales asked, and me was Richard, how do you intertwine relationships? You remember that, Rick? In the transcripts. How do you intertwine relationships like that?
Yeah.
How do you do that? How do you tell somebody, quoting from one of our siblings who told me that if you marry me, this is what homeboy from outer space said. If you marry me and you got some daughters and you don't want to be with me no more, I'm going after your daughters. That is wrong. You can ask any Muslim imam, any Muslim man, you don't do stuff like that.
That's just wrong, period.
You
No
don't do
matter,
stuff like that.
that's just wrong, period. Yep.
Yeah. You don't say or do stuff like that, period. And I'm saying these are the type of things that he has said out of his mouth. I was told by another sibling, one of our sisters, that he's a horrible, and this is just at the beginning of last year, that he's a horrible person. He's a disgusting person. He's a sick person. And they didn't go into details of what it was, but I can imagine. I can imagine. So I'm just like, all of this stuff that we're talking about is for the betterment of all of us. That's what it's for. The platform was built because our brothers saw that it was unfair to all of his siblings, that it was wrong for people to be speaking about us the way that they was and dissecting things and knowing things. You know more than us. That's why it was built. It wasn't built to go run back and tell mom, this sibling said this sibling said that. She can watch it for herself and figure it out.
Yeah.
There's no need to be afraid of mom no more. Mom is not in control of nobody but herself.
You know, I wanted to get in this right here too. This other resource that I became aware of. It's having to do with adult survivors of child abuse, and it's a group. I mean, it's an organization. They have a lot of different resources, a whole bunch of them. And their website is ASCA support.org. O-R-G. And then if you want to email from them, you can email info@ascasupport.org. And they have support groups. They offer community-based, provider-based, and web-based self-help support groups. You can check their website for current meeting schedules. The Survivor to Thrive workbook. This is their core curriculum used within their support groups to guide survivors through the healing process. Multi-learning support. Resources and programs are available in many languages. And so I just figured I'd say this about this, right? About, this particular organization, Adult Survivors of Child Abuse. And because they offer, it's a primary self-help group program designed for adult survivors of physical, sexual, and emotional or neglect. So it's adult survivors of child abuse, ASCA.org. And so please give them a call and check them out because they have plenty of references. You can go online and get to, now we have these type of webinar, web group meetings and stuff like that, which is a good thing to do, to attend a meeting and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
There, so. And so, I got one more thing to say. Current event, just some topic, ice cold breaker instead of ice breaker opening up. Hey, I was wondering about the guy from Chicago that got kicked off the team. I mean, that they fired him off the team, and he's a young guy, and it's something, he's in his 20s, and he's been dealing with injuries and stuff that he's been through. And, he's went to, it says some things about religion. And some people think he's over religious where he's at. I'm just like, well, the guy's 20 years old. Let him evolve. He hasn't done anything to anybody. I'm talking about doing harm to anybody. And it's just understanding his beliefs. And so, I mean, he's to the point where his frontal lobe is probably not fully developed. So I think we need to have more patience than just to condemn somebody like that and say, you have to conform to a certain belief. Because, it's freedom of belief, and people have the right to evolve. We got to be empathetic and let people evolve, and through things that we know are definitely wrong. And hopefully they'll evolve, because guess how we got to where we're at today? Because we evolved through some things that we made mistakes. We've all made mistakes. So, but I just think that they're going the wrong direction. And tell this guy where he can say and what he can say, what he wants to say. You have to really understand him, where he's a young man, just have patience with him. That's what I think they should do. And they're doing the wrong thing by kicking him off the team and a whole lot of other stuff. And saying because it's a specific, they're going to call them Bible thumpers, all kind of different things and stuff like that. Let him evolve,
That's what Dorian said.
Hey, listen, he's seeking the truth like anybody else on that path. So we don't want to really condemn him or anything like that. So I just thought it was just the wrong thing that they did. Anybody else heard about that?
Yeah,
I
I
have
heard
heard
about it.
about it.
I heard about it, but
Hmm.
I mean, hey, like you said, he's young, but it's a lot of stuff with that, man. Yeah,
Yeah, because he's young. That's what I'm saying. Exactly.
yeah. I mean, I don't think they should have kicked him off like that. Thing should have gave him some warnings first, and then go from there. And I get that it's a company and there's certain guidelines. I think he, like I said, he's young and he should have found the way to maneuver. And I think sometimes you have to find a way to maneuver in today's climate. And then I believe there's sometimes you just got to say how you feel too. So you just got to,
And I think
you know,
when things affect your faith and your belief, it's just like being in the military. Hey, you got to follow orders and everything. Like, no, you got a right to be a conscious objector. So some of
yeah,
the things that the NBA is doing, he has the right to be a conscious objector. I remember
yeah,
way back, and this guy's a Christian. I remember way back when it was kind of a similar situation happening with Abu Mahmoud Rauf. I forget his Chris. I can think of his last name. Is
Chris
his other name?
Jackson.
Huh? Chris
I
Jackson,
think
yeah.
it's Chris Jackson.
Yeah, when it happened, you remember what happened with all the stuff that was going on with him, and it was
Yeah,
similar, same
but
thing.
mhm, mhm.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah. Chris Jackson. I remember he was really good. He played
Yeah,
LSU with
yeah,
Shaquille. Yeah,
yeah. And so I'm just saying, let these young people find themselves. Give them some chance. Give them some
yeah.
time.
He was young, so I think that, like you said, it should have been some type of warning. He had to learn. He got to learn how to maneuver, and it is.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But I'm just saying, I mean, hey, people have all kind of, and people say, "What's going on?" I'm like, okay, he's got to maneuver. So he's going through something mental or spiritual, so psycho spiritual stuff that he's going through. You know, and so I just think that's something that's going to take some time, and it's gonna mellow out. I think that's what I'm hoping. Because the people somebody say,
I
"Well,
think
there's
his
some under."
wife. I think his wife was upset. I think I don't know. She tried to leave him or something. So that's deep. So
Well, I heard she got upset. They was on a
then she
web.
got upset with him about something. I
Yeah,
don't know because I guess the money ain't flowing there. So, but I don't
yeah,
know. That's a whole another.
yeah. I know. Yeah. So but I'm saying because this is a thing that that people are constantly evolving. These young people that are constantly growing. This is part of the growing pains. And
Hmm.
it's going to be some of those growing pains. And I'm thinking, how they're going about this, because I'm saying, I mean, hey, I got a 23-year-old, and sometimes they get to talking. That's just like, I learned like just let them talk to yourself out, you know,
Yeah,
and then sooner or later, So, but yeah,
yeah. All right, y'all.
We're gonna
Any
wrap.
any word? We're just gonna wrap this up.
No.
Anything you want to add? You good, Crystal?
Yep.
Yep. All right. I mean, yeah. All right, everyone. We'll be back next week.
See you next time.
It was a very interesting show. That's all I can say. But we'll be back next week with more information for everyone. So everyone have
Mhm.
a good weekend and everything.
Okay. Good night.